What's up, everybody? This is Lyrispect for Reelblack. I'm sitting with another fellow Pisces here at World Cafe Live, Saul Williams, actor, artist, rocker, amorphous entity. How you feeling tonight?
I'm cool.
So this is your debut at World Cafe Live. Welcome. And you were on your Volcanic Sunlight tour. So tell us a little bit about this particular project. How does it differ from Guitar Dust and just the evolution of your sound in general?
Well, the main difference between this and the Guitar Dust is the Guitar Dust was a collaboration.
With Trent Reznor.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And this album, I guess, isn't in that sense. You know, it's pretty much my process. Like after working with Rick Rubin, I did an album alone. So Amethyst Rockstar was a collaboration. The next album was less of that. The Saul Williams album was less of that. Guitar Dust is a collaboration, and this album is less of that. Just so that I can, you know, because each time I work, I learn a bit more about writing music and what have you, and I need a way to see how much I've learned.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, this album is that.
Do we still get the rock kind of feel from you with this album?
I mean, you tell me. I've never really made any promises to myself or to an audience of like, oh, you're gonna get this.
Right.
What you get is me.
Right.
Essentially, I mean, like, I don't like soft shit. I don't know if you guys curse on your TV or not, so deal with it. But
Okay.
but
right.
yeah, but you know, like, I like an edge. You know, I mean, like, I made this album not wanting to actually do something that was revolving so heavily around my anger.
Right.
You know, but I still felt a need to, you know, to have that sense of urgency and an edge that I like in my music. So however that comes about, whether that's through rock or through polyrhythm and heavy drums or whatever that is, you know, it doesn't have to be guitars. It could be anything. You know, I never really chose the labels.
So what do you think is pervasive throughout your work in terms of themes or ideas or things that you end up bringing across to an audience?
I have no idea. That's for the scholars.
So what inspires you to start or construct a piece of music, a piece of poetry, a piece of written work?
It's really simple, you know. It's like when you make a sandwich because you're hungry. I write a song because I feel like hearing it. You know, essentially, you know, it's either that or become a critic. You know, like when you have too much media interaction over the course of the day, and that brings about too much disappointment. You know, it's like you watch 5 bad movies in a row, suddenly you want to make a movie.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's the same way with music for me. And sometimes it's just like, fuck, I hear some shit, and or I hear something that's inspiring.
Right.
You know, and it's inspiring, but it's going one direction, and I see a fork in the road, and I want to take a similar idea and go down the other direction and see how that sounds. And then I'm kind of haunted by the idea of wanting to hear that. What would that sound like? And so then suddenly, but it's hardly that cerebral. You know, usually it boils down to, you know, a late night and nothing better to do.
Right. Okay. So has music always been a part of your plan, if there was a plan, and knowing you probably say there wasn't a plan?
Thank you.
And so, okay, so not the plan, but what are some of those musical influences? Like, what's in your iPod?
Check, 1,
you know,
2.
do you work to music while you're writing, or?
When I'm writing poetry, yes. I usually keep my iPod on shuffle, but recently I've been listening to a lot of like desert Saharan blues, a lot of music from Mali and Morocco and Tangier and Senegal, and also a lot of music from the Congo and Nigeria and Burundi and Rwanda. And I've been really into a lot of, I guess, African, sub-Saharan, Saharan sounds, primarily for, I have no reason why.
Right,
It's just where I've been recently.
Definitely,
you know, it's like for a while I was buying, years ago I used to buy rings that attracted me. And every ring that I would pick up was from Morocco. I don't know why. It's just so the same way I'm attracted to a sound.
Definitely.
In cycles.
Definitely.
You know?
We also saw you perform, speaking of poetry, at the Brave New Voices competition in LA. Have you heard any of the younger poets, and kind of what do you think about that direction that the youth poets may be taking, their subject matter, their approach, their cadence?
It's beautiful. I mean, I just finished editing what I call a literary mixtape called Chorus. It's a book that'll come out through MTV on September 4th this year. And it's an anthology of 100 poets. And I put out a call through social media for people to send me 2 poems, and I ended up with 8,000 poems. Wow. And of that, we had to choose 100 poems. And a lot of those poets that we chose were those young poets that are out there. It's 100 living poets, you know, many of them super young.
Yeah.
And in that book, I put the titles on one side and then tried to weave just the poems themselves into a singular structure. So like one voice using 100 voices, and let the titles read at the end like movie credits, you know.
Yeah.
And I encountered a lot of young voices there. Some that I hadn't heard, some that I had heard. Either way. Yeah, I think that, you know, there are tons of people moving in varied directions. Of course, you get a lot of people hungry with the idea of wanting to live off of their art. And so that might make them more competitive or what have you. And you know, we'll see what that leads. I have no idea.
Right.
I have no idea.
Right.
You know?
Last question. Speaking of living off your art, you're a Renaissance man, if you will. The last thing I think I saw you in was Girlfriends, and you played Lynn's beau. Maybe I missed a couple of things. So let's talk just very briefly about your interest in even continuing with acting and with theater. I first saw you in Slam, phenomenal. So.
Well, I just finished a film that comes out this year. It's called Aujourd'hui, which in French means, it means today. Exactly. And we shot it in Senegal last summer. And it's a fiction. It's a movie that tells the story of the last 24 hours in the life of a man that has been chosen by the dead to return to the land of the dead. It's a generational choosing that they do, and it's seen as a great honor. And you find out on the morning of your death, when you open your eyes, that you have been chosen.
Oh my goodness.
But it's not, oh my goodness. It's there is goodness, you know. And so it's what he chooses, except for perhaps his parents or his wife, who have to deal with that, you know. And so it's the last 24 hours of his life.
And you are this man.
And I play that man.
Nice.
But the film is in French and Wolof. It's not in English. It's my first foreign film. It's totally in French and Wolof.
Will it be released in the U.S.?
Hopefully, we'll see. It was just in the official competition at the Berlin Film Festival last week. That was its premiere. And from there, we'll see whether it gets released in the U.S. or how it will be released in the U.S. I'm sure it will be released here, but I'm not sure exactly when or how.
Well, we'll certainly look for that. You are a man of many talents, and we're very glad that you're here tonight with us at World Cafe Live. This is Lyrispect, and
I'm Saul Williams.
And you're watching Reelblack.
Reelblack.
Good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Cool.